On the road, just off of the interstate, past the white lines where the fields roll and the rivers break, you'll find a four-way stop sign, a church on the corner, and a dairy bar. Right in the middle of nowhere, it's the middle of everything I know.
Welcome to Fred Walters Field from Moody Park for another day of ECCBL action. The Trenton Generals will take on the Mercer Mammoths in what is bound to be an incredible battle between two teams still looking to solidify their spots in the standings for the playoffs, which are right around the corner. The Mercer Mammoths currently holding a 2-game lead over the South Jersey Kings atop the Liberty Division, whereas the Trenton Generals are currently 3 games up the Capitals in what is still remaining the final spot in the ECCBL playoffs. Welcome into the broadcast booth. I'm Max Raymond alongside Joshua Uhas. And Josh, this battle between these two teams historically has produced some intriguingly high offensive games. Are we anticipating similar action today?
I would say yes. And I think it's going to be interesting to see. We know the trends between these two teams where the Mammoths have really run down the Generals each time that these two teams have faced. But this is an offense in the last half, the last couple games, the Generals, as they've gotten these guys in, have really flourished as an offense. I mean, they've jumped up to 3rd overall in the whole league in hits. They're tied in 3rd for walks. Their run totals not exactly where they want them to, but average they're 2nd, on base they're 3rd. This is an offense you have to watch out for, and they're just waiting for that chance to try and get those guys in. They get guys on base, just have to bring them through, and you have a Mammoth side that is so strong and so consistent, whether it's in the field or at the plate. It's going to be a tough challenge for the Generals, but they're going to need a win here, especially because they are 2 games up over the Trenton Capitals to hold that 4th spot in the playoffs. Now, if you consider tiebreakers, it's kind of in at 3.
We look ahead at the offense that is coming to bat in the Trenton Generals. It's going to be Carlton Crane, the brand new Binghamton commit, and followed by TJ Francis, the Lucas Albert, the all-star, incredible Lucas Albert. Rupel, then Garrow, Melton, Galasso, Laquara, Howland, and Destrobats to round out the order. And stepping on the mound is Graham Ross. He'll get set. Carlton Crane will get set. Get your scorebooks ready, folks. This one is officially underway with the first pitch in there for a strike. Taking a look around the defense for the Mammoths. In left to right in the outfield is Q Williams, Jordan Robbins, Zanichi Steve. Over at 3rd, Brandon Law. Chase Bonner's at short, Carson Applegate's at 2nd, and Jack Hughes is at 1st with Jay Slater behind the dish. And the aforementioned Graham Ross is on the mound, and the count already 0-2 in favor of the Mammoths pitcher, Graham Ross.
And of note, we've had the All-Star bids selected, and right here at the plate, Carlton Crane, an All-Star alternate. So he will be in an alternate role for the All-Star game. And as you mentioned, a commit to the Bearcats of Binghamton.
That one chopped. Foul. Flipping his commit from Ryder.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you do not get to see him play for your home school.
Unfortunately not, but when you get an offer that you can't refuse, you got to take it, and that's the opportunity that this league has given some of these guys to get that film out there. And he's actually in the outfield today because Binghamton wants to see him, how he looks out there.
An incredible play there, as we'll get into the Generals' defensive alignments when we get there, but a great job there by Carson Applegate to keep the ball in the infield, although unable to come up with it after the fact. Now up will step TJ Francis. And we know what he can do, power and speed combo. A versatile player. And he's going to line that right to Carson Applegate. To 2nd for 1. On to 1st. In time double play. And a great job there by the Mammoths to turn 2 and get 2 quick outs for the always eminent threat of Lucas Albert, who's now stepping up to the plate.
And that's huge that you get those guys off base before Lucas Albert gets up to the plate. And he's a guy we've talked about throughout this year. And one of the easiest all-star picks that there was Lucas Albert. He is able to earn that nod. But you get that double play, get it up the middle, you make the nice toss over, and then the strong throw to beat him at first, and you get 2 outs and take off base runners for Lucas Albert.
First pitch called strike as Lucas Albert squared around and pulled back. Always a threat to bunt as much as he is to be able to drive one for extra bases. Never know what you're going to get out of Lucas Albert. He's going to line it right back up the middle. Smooth and sweet with the bat is Lucas Albert as he'll get on. And that'll bring up Jake Rupel.
I mean, there's a reason Lucas Albert set the single-season hit record for the Liberty division. And, I mean, you just look coming into today, he was 37 of 62, a 597 batting average, 658, 774 to close out that slash line. And then you put him on base, he has the record for stolen bases as well at 28 so far this season. He was as easy of an all-star pick as you could find, and he showed it right there, just the poise to get the at-bat he wanted and just knock it up the middle.
So now up will step Jake Rupel, and next pitch also in there for a strike is Graham Ross, pounding the strike zone early. Rupel, an all-star, swings through that one for strike 3, and that will end the inning. So the Generals, 2 hits, but unable to produce much of a threat off of it as the Mammoth play great defense and get out of it. We'll head to the bottom of the first with the Mammoth coming to bat for their first time of the day when we return here on Jersey Baseball Nation. Bottom first, and Q Williams up to bat to lead it off for the Mammoths. And Q Williams swings and misses at the first pitch as we look into the defensive alignment for the Trenton Generals. Left to right, it's Destrobats, Carlton Crane, and Lucas Melton. So the next pitch there to Q Williams is a ball. Over on third, it's J.C. LaQuara. At short, it's Albert. Galasso's playing second. Rupel over on first. Howland behind the dish. And Safashnik on the mound for the Generals as this one's grounded over to Albert. He'll get it to first just in time to record the first out of the inning.
He stayed comfortable, stayed patient. Even though it got a little tight, he made sure he stayed in rhythm and got a hard throw down to first and gets the speedy all-star of Q Williams out for the first out of the game.
And so now that'll bring up Jordan Raba. And just like Q Williams, Raba also an all-star. The Mammoths, it's Williams, Raba, Slater, and Hughes, the all-star bids. And what a collection of guys that are all started at the top of the lineup.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons why this team has been so strong. You have all-stars slated along the roster today, even some all-stars that aren't here. Garbusian, a all-star. Ray Mulhern, an all-star.
Is that one going to get fouled? It just does.
So they're littered with strong talent across this league and strong performances that they're able to put those guys in the top of the lineup and produce great offense. But even the non-all-stars that they have also produce at quite a high pace.
Brandon Safoshnik on the mound for the Generals. On the season, 5 games played, 11 innings pitched. He has allowed 17 earned runs for 13.91 ERA. As this one's lifted to left field, and an easy play there by Destrobats for the second out of the inning. Has struggled a little bit, has been touched up a bit, but the big thing, hasn't walked many guys. Only 9 walks through 11 innings pitched, which is a good sign to see.
That's how you help yourself out as a pitcher. It's just he's been put into some situations that were high pressure. Today he gets the start. It is still a lot of pressure facing against the Mammoths, and as we talk about, the first 4 batters you face and the guys you're going to face the most are all all-stars. So he's going to have his best stuff today, and it's going to be a challenge. But he has some good stuff we've seen in a couple of outings. If he's able to put it together, he can give this Generals offense a chance.
Now that'll bring up Jay Slater of Northwestern in this beautiful purple gear he's got, the helmet and the shin guard, as that one's lifted to center field. There, making the catch, Carlton Crane to end the inning. So a quick, easy 1, 2, 3 for Safoshnik. We'll head to the top of the second when we return here on Jersey Baseball Nation. Top 2. The Generals come back to bat once again. Due up Chase Garrow, Lucas Melton, and Chris Galasso. As Graham Ross back to throwing strikes. The first pitch he throws to Garrow is a strike. Ross will kick and deal. This one lined up the middle for a base hit. Chase Garrow's aboard with nobody out for Lucas Melton. And the Trenton Generals find offense in spurts. And this past weekend, they didn't have offense in the first game. Scored 1 run on 3 hits. Second game, they had 13 hits. So it takes them a little bit to get hot. However, somehow they've already recorded 3 hits. So once again, equaling what they had produced the first game against the Dirty Birds.
Yeah, and it's an offense that we talk about each piece having some strong performances, and Garrow got that single. He's been really strong for them and has come into form, hitting .354. He will be in the home run derby. And here's a guy who's not in the derby, but can swing it real hard, and that's Lucas Melton, who's had some homers here at Moody Park and has a big swing if he's able to get a hold of anything. And that's kind of helping that proponent of having a big inning. They just have to be able to expand it, kind of stretch that out to more of the game.
A big swing and a miss there from Lucas Melton as he tried to hit that one out of the ballpark. Graham Ross comes set. The lefty keeps an eye on Garrow. And he's got him picked off. Over to short. And Chase Bonner applies the tag to record the first out. And that's the big threat when you've got a lefty on the mound.
Yeah, and that's once again another inning where you lose the base runners the first time on a double play. And then this inning, you get that single from Garrow. And you end up losing the base runner because you get picked off. You try to get that jump, and the lefty gets a good read. He steps off, and just an easy pickoff attempt for the Mammoths to nab that first out.
Next one in there for a ball. Two and two is the count with 1 away. Fouled straight back, right back at us. Camera's good though, so we're gonna stick with it. 2-2 remains the count, with now 1 out, as Chase Garrow got caught stealing. Graham Ross will deal. A beautiful breaking there. Got him, strike 3 looking.
And that's just when he knew. Saw that come in. All you can do is just accept it and go back to the dugout, and that's one of those ones for Melton.
And so up will step Chris Galasso with 2 away. And once again, the Generals, they got a single, ground into a double play. They got a single, next guy gets out. They got a single, gets picked off.
Just feels like the story for the Generals across this whole season.
Check swing, they're going to say he went. So first pitch, a strike.
Every time they seem to be building momentum, build up to that big inning, it's some one moment that just knocks that momentum off, and then it allows the pitcher to get comfortable and everything kind of falters away. And that hit column will not match the run total. They could have 10, 11 hits, but sometimes that run total is only down there at like 3 to 4 when their other team is trying to match them.
Fouled off, and the count now 1-2. As Graham Ross looks to put an end to this inning and get out mighty quick. It was a quick inning for Brandon Safashnik, 3 minutes and 52 seconds. And Graham Ross looks to come mightily close to equaling it. The 1-2, fouled off again.
Galasso does not want that to happen. Wants this inning to go a little bit longer than that 3 minute and 50 mark.
Well, we saw a lot of 2-out rallies this past weekend. We saw the Mammoths put up on Saturday a couple of 2-out rallies as swinging through it is Chris Galasso to end the inning. And Graham Ross puts up back-to-back Ks to put an end to the inning. We'll head to the bottom of the second with no score still here on Jersey Baseball Nation. Bottom 2. Safashnik back out there looking to continue to cruise through this Mammoth lineup. But he's got a Mammoth test in front of him with Jack Hughes, Chase Bonner, and Joel Bonner. 1-0 is the count. Upstairs, 2-0. As my broadcast partner, Joshua, just got handed a hat. We've been offered hats. We are not going to disclose which teams we have chosen, but we have
We are
been
neutral
offered,
here.
We are absolutely neutral. However, we have been offered ECCBL hats, and we have picked teams. I'm intrigued by Josh's pick, but we'll discuss with him after the fact that decision is. I will firmly stand by the reasoning of my pick.
Hey, I respect the reasoning that you got.
My pick is pure comedy as Jack Hughes works a walk, and that'll bring up Chase Bonner.
And he's a guy who has been stellar across the season. Just came in a little bit later, so didn't end up getting that all-star nod, but has been playing at an all-star caliber level. And it's just really helping this offense be completely full as a team and a reason why they've stayed so strong. And you have that runner on first of Hughes, and we know Bonner at the plate is able to get a lot of hard contact when he finds a groove.
1-1 is the count now to Chase Bonner. It's Chase, then Joel, and then Carson Applegate. Is this one? Hot shot first base, side, and it gets through a hole. Jack Hughes coasts in the second, as Chase Bonner will jog his way over to first, and now with no outs, there are 2 aboard for Joel Bonner.
Just a good piece of hitting, and it's just a good pair of at-bats in this second inning. It's Hughes working a 4-pitch walk, and then you take advantage right after. You keep that pressure on Safashnik. You don't let him get comfortable. You don't let him find that avenue out like you found yourselves when you got that double play. Instead, you're able to get a guy on first, move him over to second with a single, and now you have 2 runners on for Joel Bonner, Applegate, and Lowell to try and find that way through.
This one's going to go foul. First pitch to Joel Bonner. Joel Bonner on the season has done a nice job of getting behind the baseball and staying to and through it. As a quick check on Jack Hughes. Joel Bonner on the season batting .283 with 8 RBIs. He's got 3 doubles, hit by a pitch 2 times. Has also worked 14 walks. One of the more patient hitters in the league. He just battles in there. Behind 0-2 in the count. As he's going to loop this one. It's going to get down. Flip to second for 1. Onto first, not in time, as Joel Bonner's also sneaky quick. So the Generals get 1 out. But the Mammoths got 2 on the corners now for Carson Applegate.
Yeah, Galasso just had to wait for that ball to get to him, and by the time he can get that flip over, he gets a quick flip to get Bonner at second. It had to be quick, otherwise Bonner was going to get in there safely, and Albert makes the smart play, eats it up, knowing that if he tries to throw, it would have been a little bit more risky than he needed to be. So runners on the corners now for the Mammoths, but the Generals find that first out.
This one on the ground, slow roller. Albert will field. He'll throw to first in time for the out, but the Mammoths strike first. Jack Hughes will come around to score. And the Mercer Mammoth have the early 1-0 lead.
Sometimes you don't have to produce runs on base hits. You just put the ball in play and you let it work. Pair of groundouts, you move those runners around and you bring them around to score, and you have the first run of the game despite having 1 hit to the Generals' 3.
This ball over to Albert again. He'll field, fire to first, in time to end the inning. So the Mammoth get 1, but that's all they get here in the bottom of the second. We'll head to the top of the third when we return here on Jersey Baseball Nation. top three. And it's J.C. LaQuara to lead it off. The first pitch is a ball to LaQuara. J.C. LaQuara will lead it off, followed by Howland and Destrabats. 8, 9, and 10 in this Trenton Generals lineup. So swing through that one, and the count is 1-1.
LaCour has been a great piece for this Generals squad. He is still in the JUCO portal, but showing his film, he's done good so far. He is an all-star alternate because of his performances this season. 13 of 43, a 308 average, 417, 308 fills out his slash line. He's been a solid piece so far. Or actually, 302, 423, 465 rather. I was looking in the wrong tab. But also 9 walks to pair with that.
Swinging through that one to even the count at 2s now.
The hope is for LaQuara, his performances get seen by some guys, especially because he's one of the few guys still left in the portal. We've seen some guys make new commitments during the season.
Swung on a miss, drop third strike. The nice and easy flip over from Slater to Hughes to record the first out of the inning.
Number 6, catcher.
And that's one thing that this squad has really struggled with, is limiting the strikeouts. They are the second worst team in terms of limiting the times that they strike out. They've struck out 202 times across this season. But the thing is, they're so dynamic when they are able to get on base that you can see that potential there with this Generals team. I mean, they lead the ECCBL in stolen bases with 110. And the Kings, Tyler Kimmick's squad, who talked about getting 100 stolen bases, the Generals have really taken over that race recently.
Chopped on the ground, foul. Yeah, that was Tyler Kimmick's whole MO this whole season. Is he wants to be the team to lead in stolen bases, and the Trenton Generals are certainly making a case for themselves as to why they could play real big spoiler to that whole parade. As that one's going to be way outside for a ball, and it really did though feel like that was just a stat category that the Kings were going to run away with, and all of a sudden now the Generals are 13 stolen bags ahead of the Kings, who will hit that 100 mark. They're at 97 coming into today, but the Trenton Generals, 110 stolen bags, 19 caught stealing. They do lead the league in caught stealing. That's all of the ECCBL. Just 1 caught stealing, or now 2 ahead of the Kings, but when you're stealing that much, it's no surprise that that is happening. As the count is 2-2 to Howland. That one down and in. And Logan Howland, last time out against Bayshore, had 7 at-bats, only 2 hits. One of them of which was a double. He also struck out and was hit by a pitch. As he works a called strike 3. Clips the bottom of the zone, and so gets him looking for another strikeout on the day for Graham Ross.
Number 9.
And that'll be the second out of the inning and bring up the left fielder, number 9, batting 10, and finally Antonio Destrabats.
We've seen Ross look extremely comfortable so far in this start. Now, still a lot of game left, but so far, if you're Coach Rich Carabelli, you have to be happy with what Ross has given you so far. And it's going to be Destrabats' job in a lefty-lefty matchup today to try and find his way on base. The Generals do have 3 hits, but you have to keep producing base hits and keep putting those chances on the Mammoths. Because a lot of times these Mammoths games, they control a lot of it. They feel more comfortable. You want to make them uncomfortable.
Ahead in the count again, 0-2. And in speaking with the Mammoths coaching staff as a whole, Graham Ross seems to be their guy when it comes to comfortability. They love putting him out on the mound because they are comfortable and confident that he can go out and execute, as he does just that right there. Strikeout number 6. He's faced 10 batters, struck 6 of them out, There's comfortable, there's confident, and then there's Graham Ross as he continues to dominate and throw up another 0. And Safochnik will now be forced to attempt to do the same when we return to the bottom of the third here on Jersey Baseball Nation. Bottom 3 and Zenichi Steve will lead it off for the Mercer Mammoths as they look to tack on a couple of more runs and provide their pitcher in Graham Ross, who's been dealing today, a little bit more run support. 1-0 Mercer Mammoths. First pitch was a ball, second pitch the same.
And keeping control has to be crucial for Safochnik if he wants to help manager Braden Meskill try and work through innings against this very strong Mammoth squad that sits at the top of the Liberty division. And you have to have your best stuff. Make sure that you're working with your catcher Howland to give your best mixes, because these matchups are going to be crucial. You only have about 6 games left in your season. You sit in that 4th playoff spot. You have to be playing your best at this time, and you have to hope Safochnik has his best stuff today.
Slow chopper to Lucas Albert. On to first, just in time to gun down Zenichi Steve for the first out.
Seems like we're just getting replays of the same play over and over again. Lucas Albert, once again, another ground ball to him, working some weak contact over the left side. And Albert, as 5-tool of a player as you can get, we talk about his speed, we talk about his hitting, but you go on the fielding side also as smooth as you can find. And he's been strong so far.
So 1 out, and that'll bring up the 10-hitter for the Mammoth, and Buzz Gresh, as that one's lifted into right center field. It'll get down for a base hit. Rounding first, heading to second is Gresh. The throw is not in time. He's got himself a double.
It's a great bit of hustle from him.
So now that'll bring up the top of the lineup in Q Williams.
Number 3, left fielder.
Q Williams 0 for 1 so far on the day. But one thing that he has done incredibly well throughout the season is clutch hitting, getting the RBIs, driving in runners, or simply just advancing them. And seemingly feels more confident and comfortable with runners in scoring position or simply just on base than he does swinging with nobody on. One ball. Now 2. On the season, Q Williams has 13 RBIs. He's got a home run, triple, and 4 doubles. As that one's going to get away from Howland, and Buzz Gresh is going to take advantage and advance another 90 feet. As the count is 3-0, and this is another guy you don't want to walk. With great speed, he can really cause some problems on the base paths.
Yeah, and you set it up in that situation. We saw the Mammoths do it before. They would It would not be surprising to see them do it again, where if Q Williams got on, he would most likely make his way over to second on a steal attempt.
Ball 4. So Q will get a nice little jog down to first base, and that'll bring up number 2, Jordan Raba, batting 2 today, and
Jordan Raba.
another guy that can produce a lot of offense with guys in scoring position. 17 RBIs, 3 triples, and 5 doubles. He was someone who started the season sluggish, but has really gotten hot as of late.
Yeah, he's been as reliable of a bat as you can get, and unsurprisingly, Q Williams on the move.
First pitch stealing, but that one's hit mightily well out to right center field, but Q Williams lost track of it. Heading back to first. He doesn't get there. The throw wild, and so now we'll get back to second. As that one was something. That felt like straight out of Looney Tunes. He was running, and he just kept running. Then he had to touch second base because he rounded it to head back to first. The throw got away. It beat him, but got away. So then he was able to advance to second. And in all of that drama, Buzz Gresh scores.
Yeah. And just a chaotic sequence. The throw ends up going towards that cutoff area in second. Albert and Galasso over there. It was Galasso that ended up grabbing it, and just kind of the lollipop toss over and ends up getting away.
The big thing, though, is that had that throw gotten there in time for the force out for out number 3, Buzz Gresh's run might not have counted, as they're going to try to pick off Q Williams. But even with the extra step that Q took, his speed, mighty strong. Pickoff attempt gets into center field, and so Q Williams will now advance. Runner on third now, 2 outs, and a 1-0 count. That one outside, and the count now 2-0 to Jay Slater. And Jay Slater has been red hot as of late. This weekend alone, saw him hit a home run. In his last 3 games, he's hit 2 home runs. The count's now full 3-0. He's had 10 at-bats. He's gotten a hit in 5 of them. He's also got a walk, 5 RBIs. And of course, again, the double and the home run, and that's in his last 3 games alone. It's the count 3-1 to a bat that you've got to be careful with. And Safochnik has done that this at-bat. That one's going to be low and outside for ball number 4. But of course now you be careful to one guy, and now that brings up Jack Hughes, another dangerous power threat.
Number 25, first baseman, Jack Hughes.
2 outs, runners on the corners, 1-0 Mercer Mammoths. As they are threatening, 2-0 Mercer Mammoths. As they are threatening to tack on a couple of more runs. First pitch to Hughes, called strike. The Mammoths went down 1-2-3 in the first, and then scored a run in the second and a run in the third. And they're looking to take that 1 run and turn it into 2 or even more. Count now 1-1. Safochnik, will take a second. Slater is leading off on first. Q Williams over on third. The pitch to Hughes Outside, 2-1 the count. As the sun begins to set, the shadows start creeping out onto this lovely Frank Walters Field here in Moody Park, where the beautiful sounds of the Summer Basketball League can be heard echoing throughout the park. Those occasional whistles and buzzers that you might be hearing, that's where that's from, coming from the left side of this field. As the 2-1 is fouled off, 2-2. Excuse me. 3-1, now 3-2. So 3-2, nobody out. There are 2 outs. Jay Slater will be taking off from first on the pitch. Q Williams will be getting a couple extra steps down this third base line. It's the 3-2. In the dirt, ball 4. So now the bases are loaded and a quick mound visit here. So we're going to take a short break during this mound visit. When we return, bases loaded, 2 outs for Chase Bonner. Here in the bottom of the third as the Mammoths look to attack on a couple of more on Jersey Baseball Nation. Bottom third, bases loaded, 2 outs, and Chase Bonner steps up to the plate. As the mound visit concludes, and Bonner 1-0, or 1-for-1, excuse me. And he's going to foul that one down the third base sign out of play.
Bonner holds the only base hit for the Mammoths so far. Or no, not the only one, because there's the Buzz Gresh one.
Buzz Gresh one. Yes, our scoreboard out in right center is not correct, as it's missing the Buzz Gresh base hit, the double. That one's outside, and the count is now 1-1. So 2 hits so far on the day for the Mercer Mammoths, as Bonner's got one, and Buzz Gresh had a double that was in towards the top of this inning. That one a ball, and so 2-1 is now the count to Chase Bonner.
That's the amazing thing with the Mammoths, is that they don't need a ton of hits to score. They can do it. They can get a bunch of hits to score, but they don't have to create these scoring opportunities. And they've set themselves up in a spot where they have runners on all bases and a chance to break through.
That one inside. Chase Bonner this weekend was 1 for 6 with 2 walks and RBI double that he had in the first game and came around to score. And in the second game, he was 0 for 3 with 2 walks and he scored twice. So he's reached base safely 3 times and he's scored, and now he's got a single. 1 run scores. Chugging around third is going to be Slater. He will score. Hughes is in safely at third. The throw kicks away, and Chase Bonner heads to second. So give him a single, 2 RBIs. And the Mammoth now lead it 4-0, as that might be the end of the day for Brandon Safashnik.
Interesting with that sequence is that instead of when they got it to the cut, when they got it to Rupel, his first choice was to turn towards third, try and get that runner over there. I think it was at least a consideration. Maybe you could have tried to shoot home. But either way, even though the throw did get away, all of that was produced on the base hit from Joel Bonner.
And so now we'll have a pitching change in the new wing when we return. Mercer now leads it 4-0 here on Jersey Baseball Nation. Stepping into the box is Joel Bonner, has taken over on the mound. For the Trenton Generals is Connor Byrne. First pitch he throws is a ball. As Mercer has tacked on 2 more, technically all 3 runs scored in this inning with 2 outs. Something that they did a lot of this past weekend. Producing offense with 2 outs as that one's flared, staying in the infield. It's going to dunk in. It's going to get booted away. Rounding third in, heading home is Chase Bonner. As Chris Golasso was unable to make a play on that one. 2 more runs score, and Mercer leads it 6-0.
And that's just an unfortunate one. He goes over, takes a weird bounce, kicks off his knee, so infield single, and an error will be officially tagged to the second baseman of Chris Golasso.
And so now Carson Applegate will step into the box, and the first pitch he sees upstairs. So a 4 spot in the 3rd. Maybe they'll put a 3 spot in the 4th. As Byrne keeping an eye on Bonner. In case you missed the social media post posted on the YouTube and the good old Instagram, this Mercer Mammoths dugout is filled with a bunch of class of characters.
Yeah, it's a fun group that they have with it. I'd say it's a pair of fun groups with both these sides.
The behind the scenes of the Trenton Generals will be coming out sometime later this week. As taken off for second is Joel Bonner. The throw not in time. You can find these videos on Max's Mic on Instagram, as well as Max Raymond Broadcasting on YouTube, my own personal broadcasting page, where I post content, personal content that I create, as well as, of course, on Jersey Baseball Nation. So that one skied into right field, super high, and eventually, when it comes down, it'll be in Lucas Melton's glove to finally put an end to the inning. We'll head to the top of the 4th. Mercer leads it 6-0 here on Jersey Baseball Nation. Carlton Crane will lead it off for the Trenton Generals as Graham Ross back out on the mound here in the top of the 4th with now 5 more runs of support. Last time he was out here, it was 1-0, now 6-0 in favor of his team. And Carlton Crane, who recently had flipped his commit. That's the proper language. That one inside and Did it hit him?
Just missed him. He was
Just
able to move that shoulder out of the way.
And I got to speak with him a little while ago. Pre-game, you can check out that on Max's Mic on Instagram as well as Jersey Baseball Nation on Instagram.
Now, I appreciated one of his answers, and I will share that one, and that's cones. Cones for ice cream. I am always team cone.
Really?
I'm
I'm
team
a big
cone.
cup guy. I'm a big cup guy. I want to hear your statement for cone, and then I will give my statement for cup.
I will admit it is messy. Cones can get very messy. However, the thing is, it's just so good to be able to eat the cone. Like, I can't eat the cup, and I get cups. I don't have anything against cups. Like, if I had to use one, I would use one. But I always prefer the feel of a cone.
So,
I just know what it is.
so if somebody just invented a wafer cup, would you suddenly become a cup guy?
I mean, I know there's like those wafer bowls. I've tried them. They're not exactly my thing. I can't exactly explain why the cone specifically works. I think maybe because it kind of conforms around to your hand, so you're able to hold it like a traditional like pointed cone.
3-2 ball four as Crane works a walk. Now I get to pose the cup. Simply put, it's less mess.
That's fair.
It's plain and simple. As a guy who is a messy eater and can relate with messy eaters, and it's no big deal, but it just happens. You know, some people are just, unfortunately, by the way that they are built, more inclined to spill a little. It's a lot easier knowing that there's going to be a lot less of a mess. Whereas in a cone, it's just going to be dripping down in your hand by the time you get it, especially in 90-degree weather like it is out right now. I like the cup simply because I don't got to worry about the mess.
Yeah.
It's all nice and contained. I can eat around the edges, scoop off the top off quickly before it really starts melting. And then I'm all good, and it's all nicely in my cup, and I can scoop it all up and be done with it. As Carlton Crane will take off in there safely as the pitch was inside for a ball. So 1-1 with now a runner in scoring position.
I think it does also depend on the place you're getting it from, because some places will give you a lot more ice cream than you kind of need.
Oh, yeah.
But I like it where it's a moderate amount. I don't like too much ice cream. And then always, if I'm getting it vanilla, rainbow sprinkles.
Really?
Yeah.
That's your pick?
That's my go-to.
I'm a
Cone,
I'm a
vanilla,
huge-
rainbow sprinkles.
I'm a huge cookie dough guy. If not cookie dough, I love me some good old chocolate.
I like some cookie dough.
I'm a huge
I like cookie dough more in a cup. That's one of my kind of
Yeah?
cup go-to ones. Cookies
'Cause
and cream
you
I'll
don't
have in
wanna-
either.
You don't want to drop the cookie dough out of the cone. You
Yeah.
don't want it.
It's not a cone ice cream, really.
That ball's lifted quite well out to left center field. Tracking and making the catch is Q Williams.
No, he dropped it.
Oh, he dropped it. He dropped it. So Carlton Crane will round third and score as TJ Francis finds himself all the way over to third. Looked like he had it, but somehow he lost it in the sun. It dropped down, and it's a run, the first of the day for the Generals. They're finally on the board.
And Francis was so close to having that same unlucky feeling where he hits it so hard and doesn't get the hit, but he does get that base hit. It gets off of Q Williams' glove, and then the throw gets away, and he stands on third.
So that'll now bring up Lucas Albert. First pitch of ball. And again, still nobody out. And the bases, and a runner is now over on third. And so great opportunity for Lucas Albert. He's already 1 for 1 of the day to drive in another run.
And if you want to find an answer right after you give a big inning, this is exactly how you do it. You get that base runner in scoring position.
Hard hit, and it gets through past Jack Hughes. Out into right field, rounding first. Heading to second is Lucas Albert. He's in there safely as that ball kicks away. He's heading for third. Lucas Albert's going to round third. He's coming to the plate. The throw is not in time. Lucas Albert rounds the bases and brings home 2 more runs. It's 6-3 in favor of Mercer.
Wow. Just, wow. That is crazy. I mean, we had the crazy play before. Francis gets his way over to third, and then Lucas Albert hits it hard down the line, gets under the glove of Jack Hughes, goes out into the outfield. He's hustling for that hustle double. Throw comes in, gets away, And what does he do? He runs to third, and because nobody was really able to get to it in time, there was enough open space. Albert has good speed. He's able to go home and get in standing. He got in standing, got his batting average over 600. This Lucas Albert is just insane.
Lifted out into center field on the first pitch. Raba settles under it, and he'll make the catch to record the first out of the inning. And so now that'll bring up Chase Garrow with 1 out and nobody on at the end of all the chaos.
Well, that's certainly a way to get 3 of the runs back. And, we have that footage down there. We gave that camcorder down to the Generals, and it was good old Alex Reiling out there taking the footage for the Generals. So we'll get that all put together when we get the chance to get that back together, and that's gonna be a fun one to watch.
I'm excited. We'd gotten that camcorder down to the Generals, and I felt I needed some more content, so I gave it to them again, and it seems like they're going to produce, so that'll turn into a great video. Got Generals and the Capitals still to come as behind-the-scenes content is being edited and put together for all of you lovely people to enjoy. 2-1 is the count to Chase Garrow with 1 away. And Mercer still leads at 6-3 is that pitch. Outside, 3-1, now the count.
Both sides taking advantage of some chaos. There's 3 errors and 2 errors, 5 errors in total in this game, which we don't see a lot from the Mammoths. They don't really make too many mistakes too often, but today, a couple of throwing errors, and it's been a 3-run inning for the Generals, and they get another base runner. Just have to make sure you're keeping those base runners.
Number 44, right fielder Lucas Melton.
Now up will step Lucas Melton with 1 on and 1 out here in the top of the 4th still, where the Trenton Generals have cut the Mercer Mammoths lead in half. It's 6-3 Mercer, with Trenton still got an opportunity to put on a couple of more. First pitch, waves, doesn't swing. They're going to appeal. He did swing.
I was going to say it felt like a swing, but a bit of a late appeal there.
Oh, 1. Fouled off 0-2 as Graham Ross was cruising and now in a bit of trouble. Granted, no help from his teammates who have committed a couple of errors which have allowed runs to score. Oh, 2 the count. Hard shot on the ground. Hughes will get 1 over to second. Not in time. Didn't get the tag there, so they'll get 1 out at first. Unable to get the tag play at second as Chase Garrow uses his incredible size to sneak under that tag. So runner on second now, but 2 away.
Yeah, and it was a situation for Bonner. His momentum was bringing him away from the base runner of Garrow, and that glove comes with him, and it just drifts that little bit far enough that Garrow's able to get in there at second.
First pitch, swinging lifted in the infield. Is that a home run? Yeah, if you put it in an elevator shaft. Making the catch there is Howland to end the inning. But the Generals, they get 3 and cut the deficit in half. Mercer still leads 6-3 when they come to bat in the bottom of the 4th when we return here on Jersey Baseball Nation. bottom 4 and a brief delay as we are awaiting a player, it seems.
There's one guy off the field where we're always talking about him on the field, and that's Lucas Albert. So everyone just
Patiently waiting and looking off in a distance.
this game so far has been
A real funky one, and
Real
now to put on
crazy one.
top of it this strange and peculiar delay as we await a player to return to action. Mercer leads it 6-3. They had a 5-spot back in the bottom of the third, and in the top of the fourth, the Trenton Generals responded with 3 to cut the deficit down.
and both sides, as mentioned before, have just been taking advantage of mistakes. We saw a couple errant throws allow Francis to turn a double into a spot on third base, and then Albert right after that, a double, then advances on a bad throw, gets to third, rounds third, goes home and scores on it. So a lot of chaos here, and this just adds to the fun. But really, when we're at Moody Park, when is it normal?
That's a fair point.
What is a Moody Park normal versus a regular normal? Quite different.
Yes. I feel like the only thing normal today is the weather.
Yes.
You know, it's a nice, calm, 90-degree summer day in July. Feels normal. As finally we get the guy we've been waiting for. It's
They
Lucas
finally have
Albert.
their shortstop.
As the man who rounded the bases in the top of the inning now finally returns to action. Would love to ask about what happened there, and we'll figure it out.
You know, he's
eventually.
icing the Mammoths, you know.
Icing the Mammoths.
Although that
off.
doesn't work because the Mammoths are kind of used to ice and cold, so
I get it. Haha, because they're a mammoth.
might be a little bit of a miscalculation.
They're a mammoth. Very, very clever. Very clever. It's the first pitch from Byrne. He's back out there for another inning of work. It's a ball. And the count is 1-0. Next pitch called strike. 1-1.
And now you start to have some new life because you've grabbed some of the momentum, but we saw the key a lot of times, and something the Generals have struggled with is when they lose the momentum, they struggle to grab it right back. But this is your chance. You may have given up 5, but you scored 3 back, and then if you shut down the Mammoths, you can really put yourself in a position where you can get yourself back in this game.
1-2 fouled off. As we get updates from 3-3 bottom of the 10th, first and second, as Cole Schulberg has been hit by a pitch. That is the Capitals game going on simultaneously with us right now. And what a surprise. Cole Schulberg's been hit by a pitch. Feels like every team's kind of got that guy that just seems to get hit by a pitch a lot. And for the Capitals, unfortunately, it's Cole Schulberg. As 3-3 against the South Jersey Kings. And why that game matters? Well, because the Kings are currently chasing down the Mammoth, and the Capitals are currently chasing down the Generals. So
Yeah. The Capitals trail the Generals by 2. You consider tiebreakers. They technically really trail them by 3 with 6 games left. A tie would not really help them out too much. I mean, it really wouldn't help them out too much with how little games are left. The Generals would hope that game stays tied, or the Caps, or hopes it stays tied because it is the bottom half.
Lucas Albert waited for him to get out there. Didn't have to wait long as he's able to get a ground out there for out number 1.
Right fielder,
The Capitals need to pull out a win if they want to get into the General. It would help the Generals out if the Capitals did not pull out the win because of that deficit that they sit in and the benefit that the Generals have over them, basically being 3 games up with 6 games left to try and hold that 4th playoff spot. But still, you can't look away at that. You have to focus on this game, and it's a game that is, I would say, pretty winnable for the Generals if they can limit the mistakes going forward.
Well, the big thing is that each of these two teams that we are covering right now have the power within their hands to do what they need to do. For the Kings and the Capitals, it's in their control as much as it is not in their control. They need to win, but they also need their opponents to lose. In this case, these two teams simply just need to win to get what they really want.
And unfortunately for the Kings, they didn't come through in that top half, so their best effort is to hope for pulling out a tie against the Capitals. For the Capitals, however, they still have that chance if they want to walk it off. They have had some heroics across this season where it really doesn't matter what they're down.
Crazy heroics.
They find ways to come through, and it would be crazy if in the bottom of the 10th they find a way to come through and keep those playoff hopes alive.
And we are hearing reports that they did. The Capitals pulled off the win off an error, and they take home the victory 4-3. How about that?
So it gets quite interesting here.
Down to the wire we go through this season as the games start dwindling down, and we get a walk here for Zanichi Steve as Buzz Gresh, the EH, will step back into the box.
And now the Generals really need to pull out a win here against the Mammoths if they want to feel more comfortable going to the future. The two teams do play each other, the Gens and the Caps, but in a game like this where even though you're trailing by 3, you just got 3 in that last inning, you want to make sure that you're giving yourself the best chance to get that 4th playoff spot, because now the Caps will put them that little bit closer by forcing that mistake, whatever that mistake may have been, forcing the error from the Kings, pull out that win instead of being stuck with that tie. And the Generals just have to find that fight in the late innings that we haven't seen enough of this season, where they get themselves back from the momentum. But today they're going to have to try and pull that out, because it doesn't get any easier as you get going down towards playoff time.
1-1. Called strike 1 and 2. With 1 gone and 1 on first in the bottom of the 4th, where the Mercer Mammoths lead it 6-3. The sun really starting to set now as the shadows have almost nearly completely engulfed the field. Could imagine the lights coming on at the conclusion of this half inning as that one's upstairs 2-2. And what a beautiful night this Moody Park field is about to turn into for these two teams, and what a game this could potentially become, as Buzz Gresh is going to lift this one into left center, coming in and trying to make the catch was Carlton Crane. He couldn't. On his way now to second is Zanichi Steve. He's not able to get there in time. And a great job there by Carlton Crane to at the very least make it close enough to where Zanichi Steve had to hold up at first and be able to get him out, and heads up play there to pick up the ball and get it over to second. So 1 out is recorded, 1 runner is safe at first, that now being Buzz Gresh, and so it'll bring up the top of the lineup in Q Williams, but with 2 away here in the bottom of the 4th.
And that's a great effort from Crane, who the Binghamton coaches wanted to see him in the outfield and made his best effort to try and make that sliding catch, and when he wasn't able to get there just in time, he was able to adapt and realize, okay, I can get that runner at second. He had to wait for that play to kind of fill out, and he gave his best shot. He tossed it over to second, and it was a good hold from Galasso to make sure that his foot stayed on the bag. He's extending out, and they get that fielder's choice, and it removes a base hit for Gresh, or what would have been a base hit for Gresh. Instead, it ends up a fielder's choice.
Yeah, mighty unfortunate for Buzz Gresh, as he was matter of a few inches away from a 2-for-2 day. Instead, he's now 1-for-2, but it's still been a solid day for Buzz Gresh, as Q Williams has now seen the count even at once. How about Carlton Crane, though? Great job out there covering all that ground in order to get there. As Buzz Gresh does take off, and he is in there safely with a stolen bag. As the pitch is called a strike, but Carlton Crane covering all that ground out there in center field. Count now 1-2 with 2 gone in the bottom of the 4th. Chopped on the ground over to Albert. He'll field it, get it to first. Not in time as the ball kicks away. Round in third, heading home is Buzz Gresh as Q Williams reaches base safely, and the Mercer Mammoths tack on another run.
And that's a mistake from Lucas Albert. On that one, you have to read that Q Williams is a good way towards first base. You just got to eat it and not try and rush the throw over. Instead, you end up tossing it away, and that's another run for the Mammoths.
Well, part of it was that he got screened by the umpire out there in the field. Our field judge in this one, Mike Boylan, kind of screened Albert a little bit, and so made it a lot harder for him to read. As you can tell, he struggled in picking up where that ball was. As another checkup over on first is throwing quite a lot of pickoff moves over. Has been Connor Byrne. As we look out into the Mercer Mammoths bullpen and see no action, so Graham Ross will return for another inning. He's got 59 pitches. As that one's chopped over to third, and unable to get there is J.C. Laquara. And a base hit there for Jordan Raba. Keeps this bottom of the 4th inning alive as another 2-out rally commences.
Once again, they're hitting it on the ground to that left side, and because of the way people were moved over, they're able to knock it past J.C. Laquara's outstretched arms, and they get 2 base runners with 2 down, and Jay Slater, a guy who's really come into form since making his debut.
Jay Slater, red hot and due for some more damage. 2 away, and the Mercer Mammoths lead it 7-3 now over the Trenton Generals. Raba's over on first. Q Williams on second. Byrne deals first pitch outside for a ball. Again, Jay Slater in his last 3 games, 2 home runs. He's got a lot of power, and he can really drive the ball, especially on a night where, while the wind is starting to blow in a little bit, it's a hot night, and anything can truly happen here at Moody Park. So that one's in there, called strike, count 1-1. As Mercer has now scored in 3 consecutive innings. The lone inning that they didn't score, it was a 1-2-3 inning. 1-1 with 2 gone. Byrne will set, he'll kick, he'll deal. Clips that outside part of the zone again. Great job. Little Bob Ross out action, painting the bottom far outside corner there. Back-to-back pitches.
You got some nice coverage out there, making sure he's using the right colors, the right brush. You always got to make sure it's washed and ready, and he's done just that. Makes a beautiful line down that outside corner.
No mistakes, just happy accidents. It's that pitch,
Yes.
a happy accident right there. 2-2 the count.
There's not anything that you can't do with a painting that you can't turn into something else.
Well said. Well said. As the count is now 2-2 with 2 gone here in the bottom of the 4th. Upstairs, and the count runs full, and so that'll release the runners. 3-2, 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the 4th. Mercer's got 1 run in the inning already with 2 outs. They scored 5 last inning with 2 outs. What else can they do here? As Connor Byrne will step off, collect his thoughts, and resettle for this ever-important 3-2 pitch. The payoff. Fouled off, and he'll see another.
And that's what the Mammoths are able to do, is even if you get a response back to them, we'll get you right back. We'll get 1 right back. We'll put 2 runners on with 2 down, and we'll make sure that we're feeling comfortable and you're feeling the pressure.
3-2. Inside move, keeping an eye on Q Williams. And now they're going to call it a balk.
He used all his disengagements.
So it's an automatic ball for Jay Slater. Raba heads to second. Q Williams heads to third as head coach Braden Meskill, freshly shaved Braden Meskill, now heads out for a little talk with home plate umpire Nate Wood. And when we resume,
Number 25.
it's bases loaded for the first baseman, Jack Hughes. First pitch, called strike. 0-1 count now to Jack Hughes with the bases loaded. Upstairs, 1-1. Burns sets. He'll kick and deal the 1-1. Gets it to clip the zone. 1-2 now the count. As Mercer looks to tack on more runs with 2 outs. They've scored 6 of their 7 runs today with 2 outs. That one's fouled off as Jack Hughes looks to stay alive.
Yeah, you saw that pitch trailing towards that outside part of the plate, and for a little bit of protection swing gets enough on it. Stay alive.
So far on the day, Jack Hughes is 0 for 0 with 0 at-bats. He's walked twice and scored both times. As the 1-2, fouled off again. Hughes doing a good job battling. The 1-2. Finds a gap on the first base side. It'll be a base hit. It dies in the outfield. Raba will score. Heading to third is Slater as Hughes has got himself a 2-run single. And Mercer continues to tack on even more runs. They now lead at 9-3.
And that was such a weird instance in when it got to the outfield grass, as it got grounded down there. It was hit fairly well, and then the second it got in there, it just all momentum was just lost, and it allowed for Slater to get to third and the run to score. And the Mercer Mammoths, I mean, you look at the last 2 half innings, they've produced 8 runs.
All of them with 2 outs in the inning as well. All 8 of those runs were scored with 2 outs in the inning.
Number 8, shortstop Chase.
As we look into the outfield for maybe a gopher hole or some sort of reasoning as to why in the world that did not result in the ball traveling further, as it left the infield and immediately just stopped dead in its tracks. So Chase Bonner will now step up to bat with his brother Joel on deck. 1-0 the count, called strike 1-1. Outside a ball, 2-1 now. High, buzz the tower a little bit, 3-1. As that ball gets away, staying put is Jay Slater as it's ball 4 and the bases are once again now loaded, but this time for Joel Bonner.
Number 34.
Chase Bonner, once again, he continues to have extremely strong at-bats since he's come into the ECCBL. And just another one there. He works a strong at-bat and then able to get a walk, and you reload the bases. The Mammoths with 2 outs have been stellar here today, and trying to continue that trend is Joel Bonner.
First pitch, called a strike. Joel not exactly pleased with that call, but one that he'll have to accept. Next one popped up, and it'll reach foul territory and get out of the abilities of anybody to make a play on it who is in the game on the field. And so the count now 0-2 with 2 away, and once again, Burns got 2 strikes with 2 outs. Can he finally put an end to this inning? The 0-2. Upstairs, he did not go. 1-2.
Just up high by the hands, and any consideration to swing was pulled back from Bonner once it got up there. So still 2-strike count, but Byrne has to find that way to get that final strike or that final out.
In the dirt. 2-2. Another ball, and the count runs full once again. (3-2), and the runners will take off, as that one is upstairs for ball number 4. So a run will come in to score as Mercer takes a 10-3 lead. And we take a look at no one in the bullpen for the Generals, as it looks like some action and some conversing going on out in the Mercer bullpen. We'll see if, due to the long delay, if there will be any changes. That one gets way away, and everyone's going to advance another 90 feet. Another run will come in to score for the Mammoths, who now lead it 11-3.
Pitch that just gets away. Byrne, since he had Bonner in that 2-strike count, has really struggled with the zone. He lost the last at-bat to Joel Bonner and ended up being a walk, and then to start this one with runners all across the bases, ends up with a wild pitch and another run coming in, and you have 2 runners in scoring position still with 2 down.
And it's Mercer who have found a way to now score 10 runs today with 2 outs. The ability to string together walks and hits in an effective way. As Applegate will step back into the box, and the next pitch he sees is another ball, so 2-0.
And now we're going to start seeing some action. We see Alex Reiling making his way out to the bullpen.
And the next pitch, a strike, and so the count is now 2-1. Now another ball, and the count 3-1. Next pitch, another ball, and the bases are now loaded once again.
It's an inning that just won't end for the Generals. And now another batter that they're going to have to face. It's just been a struggle, and we're back to the guy that started the inning. Brandon Law, they've batted around, at least moved their way around through their lineup. And he started this inning with a ground out. He now steps up for his second chance, but this one a little bit more opportunity, bases loaded for Law.
That one fouled off. The count is 1-1. Kicks, deals, called the strike. 1-2 now. The base is still loaded, and there are still 2 outs. 11-3 Mercer. This one will be fouled off. 1-2.
Once again, it's a 2-strike count, and the Mammoths just won't go away. They will not let this inning end.
It's incredible. They are continuing to battle and stay alive. It's just amazing to me. Fouled off once again. Heads up. That one might have gone around the fence. We got a nice high fence, and then it gets a little lower on the sides, and then it gets to the dugouts, and then it gets to the fence, and then it gets even lower down towards the outfield. As that one's going to get looped, it's going to dunk in for a base hit. 1 run will score. Joel Bonner rounds third. He will score. Carrison Applegate will round third and coming to the plate. The throw home. Skips in the dirt and gets away. 3 more runs score for Mercer, who now lead it 14-3. And that will be the end of the day for Connor Byrne. So we're going to throw it to a quick break. New wing will come in when we return here on Jersey Baseball Nation. New wing for the Generals, Alex Reiling, as Sinichi Steve will step up to the bat. Still 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. And a runner on third in an inning that just does not seem to end. The elusive final out to end an inning, the hardest one to get, as the Trenton Generals were 1 out away from ending it back in the 3rd before allowing 5 runs. They were 1 out away from ending it here in the 4th before allowing 8 runs. 14-3 as the count 1-1 to Zenichi Steve.
And the Kiefer Reiling here, he has 14 hit by pitches this season, but a lot of them against righties. His first guy he's facing is a lefty. You have to take advantage. That's going to be your best chance to get out of this inning.
He's found a lot more success against the lefties than the righties, and fortunately for him, he's got the lefty in Zenichi Steve, but then the righty in Buzz Gresh. Zenichi Steve, once again, one of my more favorite names to say. It's so unique. You know, I've heard a lot of Stevens. I only know of one other Steve, and it was actually his first name, not his last. He's an old teacher in high school. His name was Steve. It's the only other Steve I've ever heard of. Everyone else is Steven.
Yeah,
No
most
Steves.
people go by Steven, but some go by Steve. Just in my experience, also, I've not run into too many, but
And Zenichi Steve works a walk, and so now the inning continues, and up will step the righty in Buzz Gresh. So it'll be righty and Gresh, righty and Q Williams, and then the lefty in Jordan Raba. So Reiling's got to find a way to get a righty out, otherwise another run is bound to score.
and it's going to be a challenge for him. We have seen him challenge these righties. He just has to make sure that that slider is breaking and not getting flat. Because if it gets flat, it's going right into the side of Buzz Gresh or Hugh Williams. So you just want to make sure that if you're missing in the right spots.
1-0 to Buzz with 2 outs and a 14-3 Mercer lead. That one's popped up. It'll stay in the infield. No one's calling for it. No one's going for it. Reiling somehow gets there and makes the catch.
Had to put on the burners for that one.
Holy. Reiling thought Ruppel was going for it. Ruppel thought Reiling was going for it. Neither guy was ready to make a play, and eventually it was Reiling to make it. So the inning finally comes to an end, but not before the Mercer Mammoths tack on 8 more, lead it 14-3. Went to the top of the 5th when we return here on Jersey Baseball Nation. Top 5. J.C. LaQuara, first pitch, hits the bottom of the bat for strike 1. Next pitch, upstairs, 1-1. one gets fouled off. One and two. As still out there on the mound, cooking and doing his thing is Graham Ross. That one up the middle and through for a base hit, and the leadoff single for J.C. LaQuara.
Number 6, catcher Logan Howland.
So one on. And that one popped up into right field, and it dunks in for a base hit. Zanichi Steve thought he would have slid a little bit more, but just comes up short. As that grass is stopping everyone. It's stopping ground balls, and it's stopping players sliding. So now 2 aboard to bring up
Number 9, left fielder Antonio
Antonio Destrabats. First pitch, swing and a miss.
I can always. I think I can switch.
Next pitch is a ball, 1-1. One and one is the count. That one's inside 2-1. 2-1 the count. Called strike, and the count now 2-2, and nobody out, and runners on first and second. Mercer leads at 14-3 here in the top of the 5th. Outside, and the count runs full. Lifted down the third base line and out of play. Three-two, nobody out. Runners on first and second. Lifted. Foul. Third base line. Is it going to stay alive long enough? No, it does not. As Braden Mesco cracks some jokes with Law.
He's trying to keep him away from the foul ball. Getting some karate moves out there. You know, went for...
You ever do karate?
No, I
Karate
never
in
did.
the garage?
No.
Never did karate?
I mean, I love watching combat fights, but I've never actually been in any of the combat situations.
Ball 4. Well, I sure hope you have never had to be in a combat situation. But I myself did do karate. I did some karate. I did some MMA.
Oh, that's fun.
I did some kickboxing and boxing and a little bit of grappling. Did some jiu-jitsu. So I have very minor experience and can help you with the basics of boxing and kickboxing. Jiu-jitsu did not do enough of that, as that finds a hole through the shortstop, between the shortstop and the third baseman. And so a run will score. Everybody advances another 90 feet. And Trenton's got themselves a run. It's 14-4, as this could be the end of Graham Ross. And it will be. When we return, a new pitcher for the Mammoth. here on Jersey Baseball Nation. First pitch, trying to back pick, gets into right field, and so another run scores. So first pitch, a ball, and E2 as the Trenton Capitals now trail 14-5.
The Capitals.
Generals. Oh my God. My apologies. As that one from Francis is lifted out to center field. Rabba settles under it. He'll make the catch. Throwing it in as a run will score. And Trenton, the Generals, now trail 14-6.
Francis keeps hitting the ball so hard and just he got the double the first time, but then it just goes back to the situation where he hits it so hard, ends up being an out. But he does get an RBI at least in this case with the sac fly. Hit it deep enough, Dexter Batts gets in to score.
Runner taken off for third. Throw's not in time. So one out. And a runner now on third for Lucas Albert as the Generals look to once again have a response. As that one skips in the dirt and will get away. And sneakily, I think that might have hit Lucas Albert, but he's not saying anything. So the run will score. And now Trenton only trails by 7. They tack on 4 more runs. And it's 14-7. As this one's grounded over to Hughes. He'll make the play and finally find a way to get Lucas Albert out. So 2 outs now in the inning.
Number 28, first baseman Jake Rubel.
So now up will step Jake Rupel. First pitch called strike. Big swing and a miss there. Strike 2. As Anthony Ungaro looks to clean up the mess that he was left by Graham Ross. Next pitch. Breaking ball that didn't break. 1-2 the count. It's just a curveball that didn't curve. Popped right out of his hand. You could see it pop up, and it just did not come back down. Fouled off. Count remains 2-2. As the battle between Ungaro and Rupel carries on for another pitch. Lifted down the first base line out of play again. And so he'll see another. This one, another ball, and the count now full. 3-2 with 2 outs and nobody on here in the top of the 5th, in which the Trenton Generals trail the Mercer Mammoths 14-7. The 3-2 is lifted. Coming back towards us, and it hits off the roof. Nice, good old thud. Another pitch in this incredibly long at bat. The 3-2, ball 4.
Number 27, the EH, Chase Garrow.
First pitch to Chase Garrow, a ball. And 1-0 is the count. As Ungaro now struggles for command after seemingly being exhausted from the double-digit pitch conquest that he took on against Jake Rupel. So that one's fouled off, and 1-1 is now the count. One with 2 gone here in the top of the 5th as Chase Garrow fouls that one off, and 1-2 is now the count. One, two. chased them all the way up the ladder for strike number 3 to end the inning at last. But Trenton puts up 4, and they still trail. It's 14-7. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th here on Jersey Baseball Nation. Top of the lineup and leading it off for the Mammoths, Q Williams. It'll be Williams, Raba, and then Jay Slater to lead it off for Mercer. And the first pitch, a ball.
And Alex Reiling is going to have to make sure he's as composed as can be. It's a righty, a lefty,
And he plunked him.
and then another pair of righties.
You couldn't even finish your statement. He didn't even let you finish your statement. How rude of that is Alex Riley to not even let you finish speaking?
Number 2, center fielder Jordan
Well-
Raba.
Well, the first righty,
Gets plunked,
The
but now
first
he's got a
of-
lefty.
the first of a run of kind of righties, which is kind of rare for the Mammoths. They have a ton of lefties in
Yeah.
that dugout.
After Rob, it'll be Slater, Hughes, and Chase Bonner, all righties. I believe, right? Chase Bonner's a righty. Joel Bonner's a lefty.
No, Chase Bonner's a lefty.
Chase Bonner is a lefty. Okay, so it's just 2 righties, and then it'll be 2 lefties.
So just have to get through this run. And then, if you're Riling, you feel more comfortable. And he hit Raba.
He got plunked. Raba got plunked. So you know what? Let's throw everything we've just been discussing out the window. Bye-bye. And let's get to what the game has been, which
Number
is
32,
2 guys
Jay
getting plunked.
Slater.
Now that'll bring up Jay Slater. And boy, can he rip it.
So we have
We've just heard a report there are more runs than the basketball game has points, apparently. Our incredible producer / official scorer, Jeff, is taking a look.
a good.
As we quote the great Jeff, we went from a baseball game to a football game here at Frank Walters Field mighty quick. It's 14-7. And each of these teams have found a way to produce a kicker to produce extra points.
Yeah, they got the
Neither
extra
the Jets
points.
nor the Giants could do that, although the Giants have Dominic Zavada.
Don't even get me started with Jets
No.
kickers. Don't even get me started.
Well, guess what? You can watch the Giants because Dominic
No.
Zavada is the future of kicking in New York. And let me tell you, this Michigan man has ice in his veins. It's Q Williams. Doesn't even draw a throw. He's that fast. And Raba caught napping. Why he didn't follow Q Williams?
Not sure.
We'll find out. We will maybe find out, or maybe not, as the count is 3-0 to Jay Slater. Good old Michigan football. Football's right around the corner. As that one gets away, and Raba will be snagged of a stolen base there. He will not get his stolen base. As once again, good old PA announcer Jeff says, thank God, as his Mets have not been playing all too well. But it is the All-Star break, so this is usually the time where hope comes back. You get a break from them.
First baseman Jack Hughes.
Now will step Jack Hughes, who's found a way to produce chaos and drama all day today. He's had 3 plate appearances. He's scored 3 runs.
And this sequence is all All-Stars involved in this for the Mammoths. You have Hugh Williams on third, Jordan Raba on second, Jay Slater on first, and Jack Hughes at the plate. The 4 All-Stars that we talked about at the beginning that run at the top of the lineup, and now potentially all of them could play a role here.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Hughes is going to tap that one, foul out of play, and the count is now 0-2 to Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes of the New Jersey Devils. Nope, not the same guy, but you know what? Jack Hughes is...
We will forever run that. We're forever running with that.
That joke will never disappear. Gold medal man. Dated Tate McRae. I don't know if they're actually dating. I think he just went on a date and cut his hand. But that one's going to get down in right field for a base hit. As everyone will advance another 90 feet, a run will come in to score. And so the bases remain loaded. The outs remain 0. And up will step Brandon Law. No, it is not Brandon Law. It's Chase Bonner. I skipped a couple guys.
And of all guys,
they're wearing the same helmet. They're wearing the same helmet.
They do have the helmet.
They're wearing the exact same helmet, and I believe swinging the exact same bat. But one's got an 8 on his back, and the other's got a 14, and I couldn't see either, but I should know the lineup at this point in the game. Although, based on the chaos, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow one of these teams' bets out of order.
There's been a lot that's gone on today, and I mean, if anyone you want up for the Mammoths to try and break this through, it's Chase Bonner. I mean, 2 for 2, has a walk as well. Consistently in his time in the league has worked strong at bats.
Ooh, almost hits him, gets away. Here comes Jordan Raba. He will score today. How about some rhymes for you? Call me...
Getting that transatlantic accent with, like, the old, old-style commentating.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it's noble in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, to take arms against the sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. Enjoy that.
Impressive.
I know Shakespeare, and I know the First Amendment. That's all you'll get. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. There you go. There's my whimsical and enlightened comments of the broadcast for those who are interested. 1-2 the count with runners on second and third to Chase Bonner, who fouls that one off. Still nobody out, and 2 runners already in. The score 16-7 Mercer. As it is Jay Slater over on third, it's Jack Hughes over on second, and Chase Bonner in the box with Joe Bonner on deck. How about that? The 1-2 from Alex Reiling. Chopped right back at him and under his glove and into center field. Slater scores. Hughes will come in to score. 2 more runs on the board, and I believe, my friends, that may be it.
Is that not the game?
Are they going to call it or not?
Wouldn't
It
that
is
be
10 after
10 through
5.
5?
Number 34.
And it seems we're going to continue playing. Why not? Let's have some more baseball. I always thought it was 10 after 5. It could be 10 after 7 in a 9-inning game. Or maybe they're just playing out the inning. We'll find out. First pitch, a ball to Joel Bonner. Next pitch, another ball, 2-0.
will remain going. But once again, going back to Chase Bonner again, another base hit. Gets at least one RBI for sure, guaranteed no matter what, even if we pull it back to a Mercy. If not, he gets 2 RBIs. So either way, a good at-bat from Bonner once again. He continues to be a very strong bat that has jumped into this Mammoths lineup.
It is 10 after 7. So we will have to complete a couple more innings with still a lead of such.
I think I've gotten caught up with, get so used to the double headers that kind of assume the 10 through 5. We've seen a couple of them this year that we kind of forget when we get to these 9-inning games.
Two-two the count to Joel Bonner with still nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. And Riley will deal. Now one outside and the count 3-2. The 3-2. Strike 3 looking. Joel Bonner disagrees.
He was walking with the bat like
Doesn't
halfway up the base path, just waiting to toss it.
Number 33, second baseman, Carson.
So now we'll step up
Applegate.
Carson Applegate as the first out of the inning is finally recorded. And why not? Let's have some fun and take a look over to the MLB All-Star Game, where we see the Yankees have produced 3 runs for the American League.
Yeah, we can produce for the All-Star team. Hey, I love that.
Hey.
As a Yankees fan, I love that. Bellinger and Rice doing their thing in the 6 and 7 spot of the lineup. Love to see it.
So the American League leads at 3-0 over the National League in the top of the
Although,
first.
to be honest, I hope it goes to a swing off again. That was so much fun, the last All-Star game, that I just hope it ends up finding its way to that spot again.
So we take a look around sports. The WNBA, the Mystics lead the tempo 61-49. The Sun beat the Fire 90-87. And in the World Cup, Spain knocked out France. So
It's a big
the
one.
juggernauts that everyone thought were going to take home the World Cup title are now out. And Lamine Yamal in Spain, although I'm a big Cucurella fan.
The long, luscious hair.
I love Cucurella. I'm a big Cucurella fan. But Spain finding a way to knock off France, and they will play the winner of England, Argentina. And I'm going to say it. Argentina's had a real easy route to the semis. They played Cape Verde, they played
Hey,
Egypt,
put some
and they
respect
played
on Cape
Switzerland.
Verde. Put
And
some
yet
respect on
somehow every single one of those games was intense and down to the wire as Applegate got hit. I'm going to absolutely put respect on Cape Verde's name because they battled.
14,
But
third baseman,
let's be
Brandon
real.
Small.
They were
Argentina
it
took
is,
them
yeah.
lightly. Argentina acted like they
The
were going
first
to
2-3
blow
rounds
out
they took so
every
easy.
single game, and somehow it was close and competitive.
Yeah, and it's one of those situations where it's a good team gets the perfect route they need. And also, Messi's been doing really good, really strong, putting himself in positions.
Messi's had an incredible.
He's had an incredible tournament when you consider his age.
If this is it for Lionel Messi, what a great World Cup run it has been for him. Unfortunately, Ronaldo and Neymar, their international days have come to an end to a real solemn
End of an era.
It's the end of such an era with
Really, in any
such
sports,
incredible,
it's a crazy era that we had.
just absolute legends. And talking about Luka Modric and all of the continued other names, Lewandowski,
Yeah.
another great player in Poland who was unable to qualify for the World Cup, and just, the names are truly endless, and I will never be able to remember them all. But what a World Cup, and what an international pool of players that we have been graced to get to witness play the game, and what a World Cup that was hosted here in America. I mean, with the storylines of Cape Verde, DR Congo, winning games and Verde battling,
Even Curacao pulling out a nice win,
and just Panama knocking out, or Paraguay knocking out
Germany
Germany
in penalty kicks, where Germany never loses penalty. They never lose penalty kicks.
It was
and
incredible.
The weird thing with that one was that they didn't have people volunteering to do the penalty kicks, and that ended up costing them because it was Jonathan Tah who had missed or his game winner was called offside. He had he had to go up there because nobody else volunteered. He'd never taken a professional penalty. It's basically as if we had gone up there. We had no experience with a penalty shot, which is harder than it seems.
It's just incredible. The count 2-2 with one away here in the bottom of the fifth. 18-7, the Mercer Mammoths lead the Trenton Generals. Is that a swing and a miss? And Brandon Law strikes out. So now with two away, that'll bring up Zanichi Steve. Just incredible. I mean, truly just incredible. What a great and fun World Cup it has been, and so amazing that it is now coming to an end. With just 2 games left to be played now. A semifinal and then the final at New York, New Jersey Stadium.
Jeez.
Damn, that
yeah.
sucks. I was recently in the area and drove past the stadium. It looked so strange not seeing that MetLife logo and
It's
seeing
so
that
weird.
banner.
I've seen living in New Jersey, like we see the MetLife all the time. You're on the highway and you see
and to not
MetLife.
see that for whatever reason felt surreal. Felt so surreal that like this is actually happening in our area. And then 2, like even before the World Cup started, I had taken a trip into New York, took the path into Penn Station, and to see all the Brazilian fans in the area before the World Cup even started was just so incredible.
And then another set of fans that I got to experience when I went into New York to Yankee Stadium. The Scottish fans.
Oh my
God. They were so fun. I mean, they took over Boston. It wasn't as much of a takeover when I went in Yankee Stadium, but you could still hear them
people
chanting.
Actually show up to Yankee games.
But you can hear them chanting out there.
People,
I believe they were in like left field, but I couldn't understand them because I was all the way across the stadium from them. But I could hear them chanting, and I mean it's just been a great dynamic.
See, people actually show up for Yankee games.
Oh, Jeff, the
Norwegians,
the Norwegian row.
As Zunichi Steve works a walk. What a just great World Cup it has been. The World Cup is always so much fun. It's so incredible. And that'll bring up Buzz Gresh as we'll get another mound visit. And right around the corner, we got baseball season hitting the All-Star break. But coming up mighty quick, college football, NFL.
Oh, yeah. It's as big as it gets.
It's now July going into August, where it just feels like everything settles in, and then right around the corner, it's September, October.
It's right there. You're seeing a preseason game where fourth stringer's throwing an interception.
Prime time sports where you get to see the fourth stringer throw an interception. You get to see Aaron Rodgers throw his lone and only touchdown pass until the very next season. Yes, I was at that preseason Jet-Giant game where Rodgers threw a touchdown pass to Garrett Wilson before he then got hurt. And seemingly for a moment, I thought I had witnessed Aaron Rodgers' lone and only touchdown as a Jet, let alone
that season hurt me.
The rest of his career. That was a fun season.
It was an interesting season. It hurt to start, and then we win the game, which is weird.
I had Breece Hall on my fantasy team.
I see.
When all of a sudden he became the whole offense.
He developed as a receiving back that year and was great.
I had that season was amazing fantasy-wise. I had St. Brown, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall, Michael Pittman Jr.
Oh my! How did you get all these guys? Is my question at this point.
Oh my God, my fantasy team was loaded. I'm pretty sure that was the year when Justin Fields started going crazy to end the season, and he had like 4 or 5 straight weeks to end the season with like 20-plus points. I think I had him on my team. I can't remember if that was the year or if I had C.J. Stroud that year. But that was a fun year for me, at least, because I had the most insanely unfair loaded lineup as finally the inning does end. So we'll head to the top of the 6th when we return with the Mammoths leading the Generals 18-7. Top six. As we continue to discuss my fantasy team,
I
we will get to it in a moment.
would
leading
quit
it
the
off
league, to be honest. I'd quit the league
is
if I
Chase
see a team
Garrow.
like that.
This was 2024 or 2023-24 season. For those who are wondering, my bench for the final week we played every week of the season. We had 2 weeks for the championship. My bench for the championship game consisted of Puka Nacua, Jalen Waddle, Kyron Williams, Kyler Murray, the Raiders defense for some reason, Devon H.N., and Jordan Addison. As this ball's lifted out to left field on a horse and somehow getting there and making the catch was Q Williams. And Rashee Rice on my IR. And that was my bench. For those of you curious at this fantasy team that I had. And in my starting lineup was C.J. Stroud. Then I had Breece Hall and Bijan. I had Pittman and St. Brown, Laporta my tight end, Travis Etienne my flex, Cowboys defense, and Sanders the kicker. And that was my championship-winning fantasy roster in the 23-24 season.
I can see why I won the championship.
Oh, that was a lot of fun. And then I wanted to get in 24-25. There's a nice play made there to record the second out of the inning.
The ball now in the air is just, with the wind, you can see the flag in center trailing towards the left side. And it just keeps trailing away. It trailed away from Q Williams. He had to kind of stop for a second, try and get a read under it, and then lull the same in foul ground. Both plays able to be made, and just continuing to work effectively if you're the Mammoths.
The very next year I won it again, and you want to know my lineup?
Oh,
Baker
goodness.
Mayfield, Devon Achane, Michael Carter, Amon-Ra St. Brown, T. Higgins, Trey McBride, Jalen McMillan was on my championship roster. Let's see. Do I have the bench? I don't think I did. I had Zay Flowers on this team. I do not have a shot of the bench. I don't fully remember the squad. I had Lad McConkey on this team. I remember that. I had Lad McConkey. Yeah. So that was this roster, and that was my fantasy dynasty of back-to-back titles. And then I joined a league of a bunch of different guys and won fantasy baseball. So if you need your fantasy advice, check out Max's Mic on YouTube. A lot of fantasy football content is going to be coming your way real soon. One post already scheduled to upload tomorrow morning, and a guy that I believe will be my RB1. So plug in my own content as a quick and easy 1-2-3 inning for the Mammoths there. As we'll head to the bottom of the 6th with Mercer leading it 18-7.
No runs, no hits. There were no errors.
Q Williams to lead it off here in the bottom of the 6th. 18-7. Mercer still leads it over Trenton. And Alex Riling out for another inning of work, and the first pitch is a ball. So I think we're done with shameless plugs of myself. Josh, you got anything you want to quickly plug before we move on?
Hey, you look on Spotify for Rider Men's Basketball was on that for the last season. Lawrence Cardinals, we covered them. Some of the guys in this league on the Generals. Aiden Poot, we've seen a couple. We haven't seen Deacon Moore yet, but he's on that Generals roster. So had some post-game interviews with them. So if you wanted to hear what they sounded like, go to the end of some of them. We covered their season. I mean, Aiden Poot was incredible for them. Deacon Moore also helped them out a lot. But really, other than that, not as much.
Not as much?
Not as much yet.
Yeah. Content creation's coming soon from Joshua Uas, so stay tuned to more Joshua Uas content. Always excited to hear that. What else can we yap about? Let's think. How about baseball careers? As Q Williams strikes out. My baseball career's still going. I'm playing club ball over in Ithaca College, and we won our fall league. Took the title home. Then we went and we played. So the league we are in, the commissioner runs a league in New York and a league in New England. And then in the spring, we played the winners of New England in Cooperstown. Won that as well on a walk-off. So the all-around champs, that's Ithaca College for the ECCBL. As that one's grounded over to first. Jake Ruppel's got it. He'll take it himself to get Jordan Rubba out. Now that'll bring up Jay Slater. And unfortunate for Jay Slater, we continue to talk about his home runs, and we continue to make sure that everyone knows that he did hit 2 because
They did happen.
they
people.
did happen,
They happened.
because we do not have film of them.
Unfortunately.
We were not able to put together a broadcast on Saturday, and unfortunately,
When the
Giovanni
Mammoths-
Hallahan, who had the camcorder, did not record the at-bat. So
We only got the after part, which you can see
which you
on
can
social media.
you could see. I believe I posted on social media of Jay Slater picking up the bat and then walking into the dugout. Is that Giovanni warming up in the bullpen?
No, that
that's
is a
not.
lefty.
That's a lefty. That is definitely not Giovanni Hallahan.
Giovanni is very much a right-hander.
Great job, Giovanni. Missed Jay Slater's home run. You can, however, definitely, I guarantee, at CQ Williams making fun of Giovanni Hallahan for missing that home run.
I mean, as you should as a teammate. That's what you have to do. As a teammate, you got to keep them in check when they miss those great opportunities.
It looks like we believe it's Copcho. As that one. Got to get your dance shoes to get out of the way of that one.
A little bit
A
of
worm
Irish
burner.
dancing there, moving the legs around.
A worm burner. Leave the worms alone, Alex Reiling. What did they do to you?
They didn't
1-2
catch me
to
a
count.
fish.
Hey, you got a fish? You go fishing? I want to go fishing.
I love me some fishing.
I want to go fishing. My thing is, like, I don't have a boat. I don't have a rod. I don't have
Do you have waders?
anything. I got nothing.
Well, I'd recommend, because you can go in the rivers if you get waders. They're
Chopper,
so nice.
Albert, first. Got him. We will continue our fishing conversation when we return in the top of the 7th here on Jersey Baseball Nation. Hold up. There we go. We're good. Top 7. I was going to do the top 7, but then I couldn't get my headset on. Top 7. Did you know it's the top of the 7th?
How is it?
It's the top of the 7th, and Logan Howland will lead it off for the Trenton Generals as they trail the Mercer Mammoths 18-7. And let's see, what else can we yap about? What other fun things can we talk about? I feel like we've covered quite a lot here on this beautiful broadcast that we've been able to have. How about, let's yap about Logan Howland. So Logan Howland, on this season, has had his ups and downs. No doubt about it. Batting .259. And this past weekend had 7 at-bats where he recorded 2 hits, one of which was a double. He got hit by a pitch. He had an RBI hit.
He's that ball magnet that's on this team. Like, he has 4 hit by pitches, and we've seen a lot of them go inside on him.
Is he leading the team in hit by pitches? He's tied with Kurt Koprovka, as he now strikes out for the first out of the inning. Tied with Kurt Koprovka. Let's see. Feels like every team, though, has, like, you know, that guy that just gets hit by a pitch. As the hit by a pitch leaders in the entirety of ECCBL, guess who? It's Cole Schulberg.
Got hit today.
He got hit again today, so he's up to 14 now. Jack Hughes is second. He's got 9. Marco Christopher has 7, so he's the leader for South Jersey. Zach Barbash is the leader for the Trenton Capitals. Ryder Simpson, leader for the Dirty Birds. Lou Spatafora, leader for the Matrix. And yeah, for the Generals, they are one of the least hit by a pitch teams in all of the ECCBL. The Trenton Generals have been hit by a pitch 25 times. That is tied for 4th to last in all of the ECCBL. In first is the Rattlers with 49, then the Capitals with 47. So, in case if you were wondering about hit by a pitch stats, there you go.
Who needs the bubble wrap? It's the Capitals.
It's the Capitals. It's
they
Cole Schulberg.
Especially Cole Schulberg
needs the bubble wrap desperately. And strangely enough, though, it's 2 of the lesser running teams that have high hit by a pitch counts. Although the Rattlers have 66 stolen bags, but the Capitals don't steal the bases that often.
The Kings and Gens were the top 2 in hit by pitches. How many? Like, imagine how many stolen bases that could produce. Those teams are as aggressive as you find. They're the top 2 in stolen bases and top 2 in caught stealings.
How about this, though, that I find so interesting? The top 5 teams in sack bunts in all of ECCBL
Sack bunts, yeah, some small ball.
All in the Keystone Division. All top 5 of the teams with the most sack bunts are all in the Keystone Division, as striking out, swinging there was Destrabats. So that'll bring up Carlton Crane, and this, I do believe, is potentially their last out.
I believe this is the point.
This potentially could be it, folks. The first pitch, called strike.
Although, if anyone to play spoiler, it is Carlton Crane, who's 2 for 2 on the day.
Well, if he scores, it's still 10 runs. It'll be 18-8. As that one breaks back, not in the zone, though. Looked awfully close.
Well, the thing is, sure, it might not be Crane, but, 2 batters after, it's Lucas Albert. And TJ Francis behind Crane, who has been crushing the ball.
That one's going to be looped down the third base line. Foul. Awfully close. Almost hooked it fair, but just will go foul. It's AJ Madalena, in case I did not say that prior, on the mound. He's got 2 Ks already and hunting down his third. Can he get it? Got him looking, strike 3. And that'll do it. A.J. Madalena strikes out the side to end it, and Carlton Crane is stunned. He still hasn't left home plate. Now he does, but that will be the ball game. The Mammoths, they win it over the Trenton Generals 18-7.
Just a chaotic game overall. Some mistakes that the Mammoths were able to take advantage of. They scored 5, then the Generals, they took advantage of mistakes. We had the Lucas Albert play where he hit that double, and then because of the throw, goes to third, rounds because there's enough space, and he scores. They scored 3 that inning, and then right after, the Mammoths scored 8 in that bottom half, and then after that, it was 4, And then after that, it was another 4 from one from both sides, and it was over 20 runs in that middle part of the game. Just really crazy matchup overall. The Mammoths come out on top. They set themselves a little bit farther ahead, and the Generals are in a more precarious situation now because the Capitals have put themselves one game closer now. The Generals do have the tiebreaker, but still, 6 games left. Very tight margins. The Capitals and Generals, some crucial games coming up in the later half of this season, coming up in the next couple of weeks.
So that'll do it here from Frank Walters Field at Moody Park. For Josh Uos, I'm Max Raymond saying so long. The Mercer Mammoths win it over the Trenton Capitals 18-7. Stay tuned. More ECCBL action will be coming this Thursday when the Capitals take on the Mammoths here at Moody Park. Until then, so long and have a great rest of your night.